Let's welcome him in to the program. Trey Holloway, kind enough to make some time for us this morning. Trey, I'm going to start here hot and heavy. In your opinion, who should Arkansas start on the mound tonight against Ole Miss?
You got to go with Hagen Smith. Have to. It's a must. Looking at Ole Miss, looking at the starts that he's made this year, I think the biggest, for us to be able to advance, we have to be able to start Hagen Smith tonight on the mound.
So to that point, Trey, Ole Miss has struggled relative to what they've done against righties, against lefties. And I'm in your camp. I said it last night on Hog Reaction. I've said it this morning. I think you go with him. Any pushback, though, that you're putting a true freshman in there in an elimination game, I would think there would be a concern. Is that a concern of yours, just the pressure-packed situation that you could be thrusting him in tonight?
No, I don't think so because, you look at over the past season, he's made eight or nine starts. He's given you more quality starts than any other guy that you have right now. So, I think the biggest thing is put him in, let him go. He pitched well there against Oklahoma State, there toward the end. I know he's going to have more of a closing role, but I think you just go with him and let him run and see how far he can take you.
Trey Holloway with us here on the Morning Rush, former Razorback pitcher. Trey, tell us, another option that fans have kicked around, I don't know how much this is on the table, is Connor Nolan coming back on short rest. Tell us the difference in an arm, and I know everyone's a little bit different in being on 3 days rest versus full rest. What would be the things you'd be considering if you're Matt Hobbs or Dave Van Horn when considering Connor Nolan for tonight?
I think Connor, would be ready to be able to go. You look at his pitch count from the other day. I think he threw in the 80s or 80 pitches, and a lot of them were like low stress. They're low stress pitches. So we had a big lead, so he was just out there pitching to contact, seeing if he can get ground balls and fly balls. So I think there's an opportunity for him to come back, but for us to get to the national championship, to get to the 3-game series, I think you have to save Connor for tomorrow. I think you have to.
Yeah. For fans listening that maybe don't understand it at this level, and you've been there, what is the routine like for Will McEntire, who pitched last night, or for Connor Nolan, who had long performances? Last night nearly 100 pitches and over 7 innings of work for Will McEntire. What are those days like in between starts, and how do you maybe speed that up to be ready again? Because as you said, if you have the success the next 2 nights you want, somebody's got to be ready to take the ball for a championship round.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just they still prepare in between. So they're throwing, they're getting, they're working out, they're still doing arm care. So usually on about day 3 is when they're going to throw, their bullpen or a light pen. Mm-hmm. So, you're looking at Connor started on Saturday. So you get Sunday off, you get Monday off, Tuesday off. So he's going on what we would consider, almost 4 days rest. So, one more day off. If he was able to pitch tomorrow, that would give him 5 days and he can go 7 or 8. But like today, he's probably going to be limited to like 2 or 3, if you go with him today.
Trey, I want to ask you about Peyton Stovall's move in the lineup last night and where he was placed, because this seemed to really spark some offense. Obviously for him, he was fired up about it with 5 hits in a College World Series game, something no Razorback had done. What did you think of Stovall's move? Obviously, it worked out for Dave in the lineup card and moving him up to the 2-hole.
Yeah, you look at, and Coach Van Horn has said it a couple of times that, he feels that he probably could have moved him to the 2-hole, but things have been going well. So a lot of times Coach Van Horn's going to stay with what he has if things are going well. So, we have the loss. He had 2 hits on, and drove it. You had the home run late against Ole Miss. So it's opportunity for him to be able to put him now in the 2-hole, and just let him keep going. He played unreal, having 5 hits last night. I guess that's an Arkansas record,
right?
For, College World Series. And so, I think it's just awesome for him as a freshman to be able to step in and be able to make that impact that he has.
We're talking with Trey Holloway this morning here on the Morning Rush. And, Trey, Tommy was saying earlier, and he's right, I know that he's got that freshman next to his name, but with as many games that he's played to this point, he's not. And I wonder from some of the guys that you played with, some of the premier hitters, that you saw early on as underclassmen. Have you seen a guy that has just turned it on as much in the postseason as Peyton has as a true freshman? Or is the guy you played with or a guy you watched in Arkansas that you've seen really just change his entire position in the lineup down the stretch like Peyton has?
No, I don't think so. I think this is a cool opportunity for us to be able to see. We had, we always had young freshmen. Like when we went to 2004, went to the World Series, we had, Danny Hamlin and you had like Jake Duggar that were two freshmen that made huge impacts for us. And as a team, to be able to go to the College World Series, you're going to need those impact players to be able to step in and be able to do that. And early on, you were thinking like, oh man, this guy turned down $2 million to come to Arkansas, and he's struggling a little bit. But he battled through some injuries in the fall, and then now you're starting to see him the player that he is. And he's just a big bat. I mean, and playing really good defense at first base. It's just awesome to see him be able to step in and to make this contribution this late in the year.
Trey, I want to ask you about Brady Tygart because he's the guy that's going to see some action at some point tonight, hopefully tomorrow as well, depending on how tonight goes. Here's a guy offered by Mississippi State but not offered by Ole Miss as a Mississippi kid. And I know as a pitcher there's certain players or coaches that you probably really, really wanted to beat, and I know he really wants to beat Ole Miss. How do you hone that in and use that to your advantage while not letting it become an obstacle with getting too juiced up or too charged up? How do you do that, Trey?
Yeah, I think that's hard too, especially for him being a freshman. In the same boat as Hagen Smith or as Stovall. I mean, you're coming as a freshman, but the biggest thing is to be able to pitch with that chip on your shoulder. They didn't recruit me. This is my time to shine. This is my time to prove to them that hey, you missed the boat on me. And so I think when he gets this opportunity, and that's for me looking at it, we hope Hagen can give us 6 or 7, and then let him come in and finish it out. I mean, both of them are fresh arms. They haven't pitched in a while, so hopefully we can save a little bit of our bullpen from the stretch from here on out, and let those two freshmen just run with it.
Trey, for those listening in the River Valley area to us this morning, they're probably well familiar with your name from your high school playing days, but you coached for a long time too before getting out of the baseball business, I guess, to work with the team at Pascal. Will McIntyre's story is interesting to me, and did this ever happen while you were coaching that a player thought, hey, I'm not getting my fair shake, not getting my fair due, and you say, okay, you're starting 2 games from now or the next game. But do you ever have a story like that, either as a player with a teammate of yours or when you coached, did that ever come up in your coaching days, something similar?
Yeah. My story was very similar. Now, my outcome wasn't as good as McIntyre's, but I had pitched 10 non-conference innings for the Razorbacks when I came in 2004, and I got up hot a couple times, but they sit me back down at Florida and at Mississippi State. And so we're playing South Carolina, and I hadn't pitched on Friday or Saturday. So I went and talked to Coach Jordan, our pitching coach, and I was like, hey, I came here to pitch. I came here to compete. I came here to get after it. And he said, oh, you'll get your chance, and when you do, you better take advantage of it. And then I pitched on Sunday against South Carolina and faced, 2 big leaguers and an All-American, and went home run, and double. And my story was a little bit different. But you have to have that. You have to have that competitiveness. You have to have that, that, hey, I came here to do this. I came here to do this job. Like, give me a chance. Let me show you what I can do. And we see this all the time. You see this with different players that I've coached. You see this with different players that, that all of a sudden, like, they come out and you're like, man, we didn't expect this guy to do this, or we didn't expect this guy to do that. And they're able to be able to step it up and to be able to, make big innings and big wins for us, in games.
Yeah. Will McIntyre's story is so interesting to me because I think it translates to a lot of people listening this morning. It's the underdog story. He had to fight his way into this role. He's a kid from Bryan, Arkansas. He's from our state, all these things, but had to fight uphill. to me, that's what resonates is he's kind of filling the underdog role, Trey.
Yes, for sure, because you look at him and his velocity, his stuff is not comparable to the other guys on the staff. And I think that's where a lot of times we get lost with the 95 plus, the 97 plus. This guy's got an electric fastball. He's got a really good breaking ball, but McEntire knows how to pitch. You saw it all night long last night. He's keeping, batters off balance. They're off balance. So he's throwing breaking balls. He's throw any pitch that he wants in any count. He's locating, so he can pitch. He's not just a thrower out there. So that's what gives him an advantage, and that's what gives him the underdog feel is because he doesn't have that power fastball that some of the other guys on the staff does, and he doesn't have that electric breaking ball. But his stuff is good, and he knows how to pitch, and he can keep him off balance.
What's the mental game like with between your own ears when you're out there and your 3 or 4 pitches are all working like it was for McEntire, or you have a night like Zach Morris had the night before, nothing's working? What are these guys thinking? What's scrambled between your ears when those two scenarios are going on?
Well, it's just being able to slow it down. With him, like last night, it's easy because the game is slowing down. He's staying a couple pitches ahead. So he's being able to think ahead, hey, I'm going to make this pitch to come back with this pitch. Whereas, on the flip side of that, it's spinning really, really fast, and you're just like everything that you're throwing is not where it's at, and you don't know what to do and what pitch to throw here. So, there's a little bit of, composure that you have to keep just in case, like if something's not working, I can be able to work on this pitch, or I can go back to this pitch. So I think that's the biggest thing is just being able to slow it down when it's getting out of control, and then when it is in control, just staying one pitch ahead.
And a 9-run lead doesn't hurt. No,
it doesn't. For sure. It's always better to pitch with a 9-run lead than be, yeah.
So, Trey, on that note, and you mentioned some of your teammates and the 04 team, on the brink of elimination tonight, what do you think Dave is telling these guys, not just the pitching staff, but what is the message heading into tonight's game against a team you've already played 4 times this year?
I think it's just win this pitch, win the next pitch. You look at it, you look at how the game started the other night against Ole Miss. Yeah, Zach pumps 2 fastballs for strikes. He gets 0-2 right off the bat, and then he throws a fastball down the middle, 0-2, and the guy hits a single. It totally changes the game. So it's just if he executes an 0-2 pitch or something that the guy would chase, and we get a strikeout there, the game totally changes. So it's about winning each pitch. So knowing the circumstances, knowing what's going on, and just try to keep winning the next pitch because even when we're down, you heard him, on during the thing. If we can chip away, we can get a couple of these. So no lead is out of hand for these guys. If we get down a lot, they can still be able to come back. But it's just making sure that you execute each pitch and just keep working on, to keep that momentum going and just to focus on, to win the next one.
Trey, final thing for me, what do you think the outcome of the game tonight is? Does Arkansas advance, or is this all she wrote for this Hogs team tonight?
We look at it, I think they have to score at least double digits. The 2 games that we've won, and the game that we've lost, the other team scored double digits too. So I think offense has got to be there. We're going to have to be able to have a big game from Caden Wallace. You looked at the last 2 games, he's got one hit, one of his last 9. I think he has a huge game for us. If he has a huge game for us, Caden Wallace, if he has a big game, I think the Razorbacks go on and play again tomorrow. Yeah. And the biggest thing is just keeping runners off base when Elko comes up for Ole Miss. We can't have a 2-run or 3-run home run for him. Solo home runs are not going to beat us tonight, but we have to keep base runners off base when Elko gets to the plate, and Caden Wallace has to have a big night tonight.
So, Trey, you're one of the Pascal pros over there with Charlie Boyce now. Ty was telling me before we came back for the segment, did you know it's National HVAC Day today?
Sweet. everybody, let's go.
Yeah.
Call in Pascal. Here we go.
Free lunch on Charlie today, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, all right, Trey, good to catch up with you, and we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully we're talking, maybe next week about a national championship.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me on. Go Hogs.
Trey Holloway, former Boonville Bearcat, former baseball coach at the high school ranks, and former Razorbacks, where a lot of our audience knows him this morning.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.